What is going on, guys? It is your boy TKD123 here, back in here on Poison Source, and this is Road to Forbidden West, the weekly podcast dedicated to any and all things Horizon Forbidden West, from news, lore, reaction, and upon release, our review, along with a spoiler cast to end the series. With me, of course, the Plat Champ, PS Trophy Room's other half, Joe, Mr. Badminton Rand. How you doing, good sir?
I'm doing fantastic, but I gotta say, this intro's a lie. Weekly, we took a little bit of a hiatus there, bud.
Yo, I forgot it says weekly.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Shoot. When was our last? It was like had to have been
ago.
like February. Low key, almost 2 months ago.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Low key?
Time really.
Yeah, I mean it's April.
Yeah.
Wild. Yeah. So
Huh.
I did tell everyone, hey, we're gonna take our time playing the game. You know what I'm saying? We definitely took our time playing the game.
Yeah.
And then life happens, right? We're both grown adults. We got things going on. I had a bachelor party to go to. I was in Miami. You know what I'm saying? I have a wedding next. Not my wedding. Right. Not mine. No. Not mine. But yeah, so a lot of you, of course, got some new jobs in the cut. You love to see
man.
it.
I'm in the industry now. I know all the things. I know what studios PlayStation's gonna buy.
Fire.
I know that the Activision deal is gonna fail.
Hey, yo, is it that Kojima? What's up, man?
It's not Kojima. It's not Kojima.
I saw people today like showing the banner with Death Stranding. I'm like, guys, do y'all understand that Sony owns the IP?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that doesn't directly mean that they bought them.
Yeah.
I was like,
it
guys,
means nothing.
Settle down.
If they bought Kojima, he would be in the center. And I'm not talking about Norman Reedus and his fetus. I mean, Kojima would be
literally
there.
him.
Yes,
he would be in the little sizzle slit on like the wallpapers.
He's right. He's working for Microsoft right now. Like, this is all something
man.
we know. Like, Microsoft literally hired a whole cloud streaming division for Kojima. Like, he's doing other stuff right now, guys. Just settle. I get it. We're hungry. I had to make a story that revolved around my friend of the show, or frenemy of the show, Luke Lawyer, this week. It was awful that I had to use him as attribution. I hated it, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do.
That word.
And
I like that word.
So humble brag. I got a vocabulary. But yeah.
So now that you're in the industry, right?
Yeah.
When there's factions, bro. You know what I'm saying? Just give me like one blink for this year, and a beta, maybe two blinks for next year. We gotta decipher it. But happy to be here, of course. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Well, who do you think? Real talk, because they bought Haven Studios. Deviation's like practically. Come
They're
on,
100% first party, bro. Did you see their offices, bro? I'm like, guys, come on now.
Come on.
Like, yo, they're
like, we have studios we haven't announced yet. I'm like, it's Deviation and Firewalk. You could just say it. We know this.
100% Deviation is 100% first party.
What do you think? Real talk. What do you think before we get into this Horizon stuff? Who do you think it is?
Like, who's the big boy that Jeff Grubb and Greg keep talking about?
Hinton.
Oh man, I don't know, man. I don't know.
I don't know.
I really, I don't know which one is the most plausible. Like,
I know.
I find it highly unlikely it's Square. I just don't see that. But like, what could be, like, Kojima? I believe a little bit more, I guess, but like, still not really, because Hideo really has made it public that he just wants to work completely without any boss to call up to and everything, in spite of him and Sony having a very close relationship and all that.
Yeah, they've kissed.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, honestly, I don't know who would be like the big studio.
So first off, I got like a lot of like, oh, you're just being a PlayStation fanboy right now, but like, I like the Haven acquisition. I like the future Deviation acquisition. I love the Blue Point acquisition. God bless Housemarque, for they are the game of the year last year.
Yes,
BAFTA award winning.
BAFTA best game. Talk that talk.
The Trophy Room game of the year. So like,
Tower of Sisyphus.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I want PlayStation to keep doing that. Acquire studios. I care not for a publisher. You don't have to clap back to Activision Blizzard, because I don't like that. Because like to me, I don't like seeing bad behavior out of Activision get rewarded, like those people getting a golden parachute and leaving. I don't like Microsoft saying we're gonna evaluate our relationship.
Thank you
And
for saying
then
this.
go out and buy a culture that is full of garbage, going, oh, this culture worth $68 billion. We want this culture part of us.
Thank you for saying that.
Right?
Thank you for saying, not a lot of people are seeing it that way.
No.
And I don't see why you can't look at it that way. Like,
it is what it is.
you know what I'm saying? Like, it is.
Like like Phil Spencer played a really nice, good talk game, but like in actuality, he bought a company that has like dozens of allegations attached to it, and he was just like, "This is fine, and we'll change the culture." And I'll take Phil at his word there that he'll change the culture, but I don't like him saying we'll evaluate our relationship and then just buying it. And again, like the culture is not going to change overnight. It's gonna be a lot of hard work.
I'm really shocked a lot of people were just like ready to pop champagne and throw confetti out the wall.
And trust me, like I have faith that everything's gonna work out. Like that, those people are gonna have a better work environment. But I don't like the fact that these millionaires are becoming billionaires. That's what I don't like, and I don't think anybody could cohesively or tell me in a cohesive way that this is the reason why. Like, you should just be okay with this. It's like, no, I shouldn't. Like, Bobby Kotick should be behind bars. He knew about these allegations and did nothing. Like, that's enough to warrant something. But, again, I'm in my feelings there, I guess. Nonetheless.
Yeah. I think, like, the last thing I'll say, too, is that, like, you know, I think, like, a lot of people that would, like, want to counteract what you just said would say, like, oh, I mean, like, there was no other way out. You know, like... Either way, he was gonna make a lot more in a potential buyout or etc. Whatever, you know what I'm saying? Which I don't know. You know,
they could have just protested, created a union. The shit that they're doing right now is how you change that company. Like they were doing it. They're putting in the work right now. You don't need to make a buyout for them to have a good working, culture. Totally. I think no matter where you cut it, PlayStation has to answer back, at least their corporate mind, because the shareholders are in doubt that PlayStation could fight back against this $1 trillion company, which it can't. But nonetheless, everything looks towards Japan, right? Mm-hmm. So Capcom's in the best financial position.
I have one.
They've done great work. They're just boosted everybody's pay by 30%. They're doing great. They have no need for a buyout, so they're off the table. Right?
Yeah, I would see the sense in buying Capcom, given that they bought Evo, and they seem to be having, or at least wanting, a little bit more of like a fighting game type of slant to PlayStation first party. But go ahead.
Sure. But still, you could do that by going with a smaller purchase, which I probably will end up doing, which is Arc System Works. Yeah, right. Arc System. And by having Evo, you already have all the fighters right there. So, you don't need necessarily Capcom for it to be there. But I understand where you're coming out there. The rumor was Konami. No.
Can they buy Konami?
Do they want Konami?
I mean, if they can buy Konami IP, that would intrigue.
I'm gonna say something crazy. Ready for this?
Oh no. Oh shit.
Do you really want Konami IP?
I mean, I think Metal Gear would be a good one. I know Castlevania's kicking with this Netflix
I feel
show,
you.
right? I mean,
but are those IP worth billions of dollars?
I think Metal Gear might be. I mean, I don't have the numbers in front of me, but like, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
I don't get me wrong. It does not hold anything against Metal Gear. I think it's a great series that's also up its own ass, but great. And it's predicted a lot of what we see today. It's great. That being said, you don't need it because Castlevania is great, but you could partner with Konami and do those things, which I think is happening. Right. So you have no need to buy Konami. What is the big yet, I could totally see this happening acquisition? Comes down to two parties.
Okay.
Ubisoft needs help. They're doing a lot of risky things right now. but I don't think it's them because they have way too many employees that you will have to fire. So I think they're out. I think no matter what, all roads lead to Square Enix. Square Enix is not doing nearly as great as I think they want. I think a lot of games are failing their projections as of late, if you're not a Final Fantasy game, that is. You're seeing games like Babylon's Fall just fall right on its face. They can't...
hate to see it.
You hate to see it. What I really hate to see is they can't do games as service. And we've seen that with with Avengers. And we know that they have a great relationship with PlayStation. And we also know that Square does want to make some type of metaverse and some type of cinematic universe. Now, they are having trouble and they need help. That's a company where you make those type of deals.
Right.
Where you make that offer. So I think Sony has been, since probably like July of last year, talking to Square Enix and actually testing the waters of like, so let's do this. Let's make this official. You need our help. We need your IP. We need RPGs. You need movies. You need games as service. We have Bungie. This makes a lot of sense. So I think it's the least surprising, but I think that's all roads lead to Square in my eyes, and I'm probably wrong.
I have one team in mind that this will be the last thing I say.
Sure.
But like, I'm just gonna say the team, and like I think it already warrants itself like that there was to be fair, a stronger tie between Sony and this developer, right? One might say that this might have been one of those of the same ilk of like Supermassive, right? One of those that potentially could have gone away, right? But they're not fully gone yet.
Yeah.
From Software.
All right. I respect this answer. Now, this is why I'm going to shoot it down. We're thinking of what does Sony get, right? When like what does Sony get out of From? From is the dev that got away. I bet you if they truly believed in Demon Souls and saw that thing through, because if y'all don't know, Demon Souls is a PlayStation IP, the original one, and the reason why you see it in the States from published by Bandai Namco is because because PlayStation, or no, Atlas, I think. One of the two. PlayStation didn't have faith in it. And it was a troubled development, so they dropped it. And it was a cult classic. They saw something there. They built on it with Dark Souls, and the rest is history. And I think with the success of Elden Ring, PlayStation is kicking themselves in the goddamn shins. So I get it. If you're PlayStation, you're like, let's bring these sons of guns home. This could be our Bethesda Softworks, right? Because look at the sales of Elden Ring. It's freaking huge. It's now is now a mainstream brand.
Spoiler alert, it beat Horizon. We'll talk about that in the news section, but yep.
In more ways than one. So
oh shit.
Here's the thing.
Okay.
The question is, what does From get out of this deal that they don't already have?
That's a great question, because like they just sold a ton on all platforms. Like why silo it now? You know?
And here's the thing: Bandai Namco is just like, it seems like Bandai Namco goes, "Hey, From, just make whatever you want. You want to put giant lobsters in your game? Yeah, okay, whatever, do it. You want to do?
Are there giant lobsters in Elden Ring?
Oh yeah, and they are like the hardest enemy too, literal giant lobsters. Like, go for it. Go for it. Be weird, Miyazaki. So they don't, other than like multimedia stuff, but even then I don't see how into it From Software is when they actually say those things. And that ain't going anywhere. That ain't going anywhere. Unless they buy that whole parent company. It ain't going nowhere. Yeah. I would love to see it though.
Just a thought. Yeah.
Because honestly, if the day that happens, the day I sell my Xbox, I don't need this thing anymore.
Damn, you heard it here first, fellas. You know? Listen,
I don't need it.
If we get a blog post tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
you might see an offer up posting from our boy here.
Real talk. If I get to see a Bloodborne 2, if I just get to see a Bloodborne, like we're just mentioning a sentence, I might legitimately sob.
I hate that it's not on the Nvidia leak. I fucking hate that.
It hurts me so bad inside.
It's like, damn it. It seems like it should be there. It seems like it should be on that list. Oh, you hate to see it. But you know what you love to see, Joe?
Yeah.
You know what you love to see? Some housekeeping here. Catch the show here on YouTube, Conferences, Plays, and Source, as well as podcast services like Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, etc. via the anchor link down below in the description. Like the video and rate the podcast. It really does help. It really does help us get seen by more viewers, so we can grow the PSS family. Down below as well, let us know what you like or dislike about the show, and connect with us further on Twitter and Discord in the description. Feeling generous, we have some memberships on YouTube. The $1 Prince tier, my boy Tabiwa Musa holding it down, and our $5 King tier members, just like Caleb Kaiser, Psyquest Sean, the Iraq Knight, and the homie Owen. Much appreciative. And the latest stream series was Horizon Forbidden West. I might start Resistance 3 here pretty soon, just to end off the Resistance stream trilogy and all that. But we will see when we get down there. Definitely rate the podcast on podcast services, like I said before. And do you want to talk about anything you've been playing, or just go straight to the news? If you know what I'm saying, no. Yeah, let's straight to the news. I think you're muted, at least for me.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, no, okay. Just go for it. Go for it, because I wasted enough time talking.
There's no wasted time. There's no wasted time. Oh. There was only two major things I wanted to bring up that really like pertain to Horizon from like an evergreen standpoint. Uh-huh. And that is while the game has had a ton of different patches, mainly the big culprit for these patches is trying to iron out some visual bugs and shimmer that is present in the game. One update in 1.09 definitely was something that I wish I played with this patch. Okay, I don't know about you. Let me know how you feel about this. They added this option in the settings to turn off the pickup animation.
Yeah, right? Why was it ever in the game? We didn't need that.
Oh, so you're anti? Wait,
no, I hate the animation.
Okay,
same. I loathe it. Yeah.
Same here. I just wish it felt like Ghosts. You know what I'm saying? Like
exactly.
You know, like and this toggle does wonders. I'm telling you right now. Like people and I hated the people on Twitter that were like, "Why are you complaining about the animation?" I'm like, "Do y'all know how much time that adds over the course of like just say an hour?"
Yeah.
Do you know how much time is wasted in the animation? And how much that builds up over the course of a 40-hour, 50-hour, 60-hour game?
Yep.
Like, come on, guys. Like, okay, yeah, first world problem. Like 90% of what we complain about in games are first world problems. Pretty much all of it are, right? But like, this is something that I would consider a very legitimate thing that I wish was in the full game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I appreciate the animation. Right, I don't want to disrespect the animator. Right, it's a great animation.
No, they could have saved a week.
Yeah, but at a certain time, it's like, yo, let me just pick up this motherfucker. You know, let me just grab this berry.
That animator's like, Jeff, we don't need this. Like this animation is too much. We're going too far. Jeff's like, put it in the game. People are gonna love this. And every time she does, she could just say she's putting it in her stash. It's like, is it that excessive? Nope. But she talks a lot in this game, don't you think? Not enough.
Yep. She also does a lot, which they also did in a update. They also like toned that down. Yeah. Which I played after that patch, and I was like, "Yo, she's still talking a lot." Maybe I'm just noticing it because it was so apparent before, and now whenever I hear it, just okay, you know. But yeah. So happy to see that we're on the same side on that animation. Below in the link down below, you can see a little clip of it, and someone just gracefully running through Horizon and just. All the twigs are being picked up, no problem. You know, can you pick up items on the horse pack
in Ghost
in Horizon? I think that's a skill tree thing, right?
I think it's a skill tree thing, but it ought not to be. Because I was picking stuff up on my Raptor humble rack.
Because I remember I think she does an animation for that too.
Yep.
She'll like lean over
She
on the
leans
horse.
over and just snatches it.
Yeah, I need
Excessive.
you to just pick it up. You know, just pick it up. Just pick it up.
Yeah.
And second news story here is a little bit more juicier here. So Keen Eyes. This actually I think broke right before the game came out, or what was day on this? Yeah. It was very, very close to when the game came out. On the bottom, or excuse me, on the back, people were seeing in the UK versions of Horizon, on the physical versions, that I'm gonna just read from
Yeah, go for it.
Push Square. Quote, "We double-checked the game's PEGI rating and, quote, in-game purchases are referenced. The full description explains, this game offers players the opportunity to connect to their storefront where they can purchase subsequent DLC expansions, which some parents or, the hell is that word? Carers? Okay. Oh, like caretakers. Okay. Carers may want to be aware of. Parents, carers, or responsible adults should check to see what is being offered before making any purchase on behalf of a child. It should be noted that the game can still be played without the need to purchase such items." I'm shocked. This clearly made some deal. Now, granted, this could just mean skins, right? But considering that we have the Frozen Wilds, right? It's probably safe to bet that there will be some sort of DLC. How do you feel about this, Joe?
Oh, it's coming, and I can't wait because there's a lot of places where this could go, and a lot of characters now that you can travel with, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does. You meet a lot of people in the game. You can go do a lot of things with them. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Definitely. Yeah, I'm very curious to see what. And to me, this is just a dead giveaway that there will be a DLC expansion for this game. I don't think it'll be as quick as the original game, where that one came out in November, right? I'm not expecting that. I'm expecting more of think Returnal Ascension, where about a year after the game.
Yeah.
So we'll check in next February and see if there's a big DLC for this game, or who knows? Maybe it will be dropping this November, but I'm kind of doubting that.
It depends on what they have in November, I would say.
Right. Yeah. So definitely be on the lookout for DLC. You can take to the bank. Heard it here first.
Yep.
I think it's pretty much likely. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Last thing here is just some quick bullet points involving sales data from this game. We don't have a for sure this is how much the game sold. We're gonna have to read some UK numbers and just kind of break it down.
Mm-hmm.
You have something to say, Joe?
Oh no, I have a question that leads up after, but go for it.
Okay, all right. Just real quickly here, a third of boxed sales, so physical sales in the UK, were on PS4, meaning that 2/3 of physical sales were PS5 versions, which that was a big story. That was a big story where you technically didn't need to buy the PS5 version to get the PS5 version because there was a free upgrade, all that. Physical sales in the UK were down by 35.4% compared to Horizon Zero Dawn. I say that makes sense. That's just the overall trend of the industry. A lot more digital sales since Horizon Zero Dawn 2017. 49% of UK sales were from the PlayStation Store, so digital sales in the UK were almost 50%. 67% of those digital sales in the UK were PS5 versions, meaning that those people paid the extra $10. So that actually lines up pretty perfectly with the box sales as well, which is kind of weird how it's about 2/3 of it were on PS5 sales alone. And then lastly here, Horizon Forbidden West debuted on the February NPD of 2022 and PlayStation Store charts. It landed at number 2, being beaten only by the one Elden Ring. And at least on NPD, it beat Pokemon Arceus as well. So
wow, that is actually impressive.
Yeah.
Okay, question.
Definitely. Yes, sir.
Elephant in the room. Now, yes, Horizon Forbidden West outpaced the original. I think what this game took to sell. No, I said it right the first time. What the first Horizon took 5 days to sell, this game sold in 3. So obviously, and that's even given digital, right? We really don't know the digital number. We just know physically it sold pretty darn well. Do you think this lived up to PlayStation's projections though? Because we don't see PlayStation brag about these numbers.
Because they're not bragging about it, that's where I'm like, I'm not sure. You know? I'm not sure. I do feel that no.
Are they not bragging because not because it sold bad, but because Elden Ring sold so much better?
I don't know if it, I mean, maybe. That could maybe be it. I don't know if it's like directly because Elden Ring, like comparisons that like people would make. I'm not sure if that's like the full picture. Perhaps that's a part of it, maybe. To give them benefit of the doubt, I think they really like to, you know, say those like really big milestones of like, hey, 10 million, 20 million.
Fair
you know what I'm saying? Like, I know they like to wait until they don't want to say, oh, like we sold like 3.6, you know what I'm saying, or like 4.2, right? That's not always the case, but I feel like generally speaking, they like to wait for those big, you know, round numbered type of milestones. So that could possibly be it. Okay. But I was pretty shocked that like they haven't talked a lot about how much this game sold. We're 2 months out from release. And I think I don't think it's wrong to discern some sort of lack or misprojections could be here with Horizon for sure.
It just keeps me up at night. No, I'm only kidding. Both games are great, and they both deserve all the accolades and sales. So yeah, just gets me wondering.
Yeah, I'm very curious to see how because for fun, we're definitely going to talk about how Elden Ring compares to Horizon.
Do you want to just get that out? You want to get the Elden Ring out of the room?
You know what? Sure, why not? Yeah.
Sure.
Tell me where. Yeah.
It's great.
Go off on that.
Beforehand, like Horizon was my game of the year, and I think everybody was on the same boat, right? Elden Ring comes out. Now, as you all know, I'm a huge From Software stan. Okay, I'm too tired to remember the days, but it's in the thousands or 2000s, of which, you know, the original launch of Bloodborne, 7 years, right? Yeah, 7 years. Anniversary 2 weeks ago. So I'm a huge From Software nut. I liked Elden Ring a lot, but I wouldn't say I loved it in the beginning. Okay. But there was something about Elden Ring that once I started playing it, I couldn't put it down. And it was bothering me because I was like, legitimately, I thought for a very long time, like, Horizon's better, but there's just that From Software combat is just unmatched. And the more I played Elden Ring, the more it became apparent that the reason why this game succeeds is for also a very different reason as to why Horizon succeeds. This game doesn't tell you a whole lot, which I believe it should tell you more. I believe you should have a journal and a true golden path. But to me, the sense of discovery is unmatched, unrivaled, and the level design in Elden Ring is, I'm going to say something very crazy. At least 5 years ahead of everyone.
That's a statement. That's a statement right there. That's a statement right there.
It took what Breath of the Wild did, which is like, if you see it, you could go to it. But From Software is like, that's too trivial. And God forbid it rains in your world. No, if you see it, you can discover it. And there's a much more powerful thing of finding a passage to this place that people can find differently. Or you could traverse the map. Like, for example, I always use this one. I was on a ledge, and out of the corner of my eye, I was like, I think there's enough gap for me to jump from this ledge and make it onto this roof. And I can skip, I think, half of this level. And I did. And I felt like a genius. And here's the thing, when I jumped off, and this is actually a great one, where I was on a pillar, I jumped onto a pillar, I was like, okay, let me see what's over here. And there was a ladder. And I'm like, how did From Software know I was going to jump on this ledge? Where does this ladder lead? And I climb up the ladder. There's an elevator. I go, what? Again, this was just out of the corner of my eye. It was not right in front of me. My curiosity just said jump. And I did. I go down the elevator. It's literally a shortcut. You could get to the Millennia fight 5 minutes into that level or 45 minutes into the level. You choose. It's just the way you get to those things is unmatched. It's unrivaled. And I'm telling you, I feel bad for not just Horizon, because I think its level design is phenomenal, and I think it got overshadowed by how amazing this game's level design is. But for any RPG coming out this year, like Starfield, because I'm like, I understand people going, I don't want to be just my hands being held. Aloy constantly talks. She solves everything for me. Whereas this game is just like, no, you're smart enough. Go for it. You can do this. Yeah. I don't necessarily believe in you, but you can do it, I guess. And you go and you do it. And it takes the honeycombed nature of From Software's level design and ups it to 11 in such a way where I literally don't know how they did it. It's ingenious. And there is never, because video games, there's a lot of recycled assets. Not in this game. You're never running into the same cave twice. Hell, you were in a different area. You were fighting different enemies. Like, you got your standard knight, but yeah, there's crustaceans with staves and there's big giant lobsters and all this. The enemy variety in this game also does mimic a lot of previous From games, but at the same exact time, it's so varied. It is astonishing that they were able to fit all those things in this game. So to me, I love Horizon. Nothing that I say that is positive towards Elden Ring takes away from my love of Horizon. But it sucks that at the end of Elden Ring, I was like, yep, this is the game of the year, and it is extremely obvious.
Right.
But at the same exact time, and now this is where I come off as like a complete From Software, like, no. It is definitely the easiest goddamn From Software game. It's a joke.
Yeah, I have a member of a podcast that he's big on FromSoft, and like he was playing like Horizon first and waiting to get to Elden Ring. He started Elden Ring last week, and he's talking about that on Twitter. Like, yo, like this is piss easy.
So it's not that hard.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
And don't get me wrong. If you're a From Software fan, you know all the tropes, so you know what you're doing. But like, if you could get past, and admittedly, the first 3 bosses are difficult and challenging. All of them have their own leaps and hurdles and whatnot. But if you get past those 3 bosses and the world opens up, and if you're ever stuck on a boss, you could just go somewhere else, get lost, discover new stuff, discover new weapons, whatever have you. You go back to that boss and you are going to beat them. The only boss I had trouble with, and the only boss that I died multiple times to, like legit, like I spent five tries or more on, are like 3 bosses.
Yeah.
The rest, like the final boss, though he was cool, I kicked the shit out of him. I mollywopped him. He was a dum-dum. But like the rest was just like, yeah, this is not hard.
Right, yeah.
And I get it, like coming from me, it's totally different. But like Sekiro's boss fights are unmatched. Like Sekiro's boss fights are phenomenal.
Right.
These kind of just feel like a hodgepodge of like bosses I've already met.
Yeah, he brought up the same point that you were saying of like, in any of the Dark Souls, Bloodborne, Sekiro, right? Like you can't really leave the area, grind, and then come back to it, right?
Definitely in Sekiro, that's the case, yeah.
It is or it isn't?
Oh, it is. Sekiro,
sorry, okay.
Sekiro, every boss is a get good because you are this strength from the start to the end for the most part.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Where like Elden Ring, because it's open world, he's saying that like you can just do that and like it makes it way easier. And he's making the case also. He said that like he mentioned that he doesn't feel like Elden Ring being open world is really making the game like substantially better in his opinion.
What area is he in?
Oh, I don't know.
What boss is he in?
I really couldn't tell you, bro. I'm sorry.
Okay,
I really couldn't. Yeah, I can give you his on Twitter.
Yeah. What's his at?
He's Broken Games HD. He's
Broken Games. Okay. Yeah. He has a lot of takes. Some of them are good. Some of them are bad.
Yes, he do be talking spicy. Absolutely, yes, he do be talking spicy. Yeah, him. But yeah, that's what he was saying on Weapon Wheel last week.
Yeah.
About that. Yeah.
No, I agree.
He
with
has
him,
a lot more to say, but yeah.
But there were like, to me, I was on that same. I was singing the same tune until I literally found out. Oh, there's an underground. And then I was like, okay, this underground isn't too expansive. Oh, there's an elevator. Oh, the map is actually like 2 times this size. Oh shit, no, there's actually even more after this. Shit. Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's nuts. It's again, enough of me singing this game's praises, because again, I think it's great, but there are problems.
Right.
Well, I want to talk about Horizon. We're on a Horizon podcast. What are we doing here?
Horizon Forbidden West.
Thank you.
Is my game of the year right now.
Okay, good.
You know what I'm saying? I found this game overall, right? Now we're gonna get into the problems that I have with this game, right? Mm-hmm. Definitely not perfect, guys. Don't be saying that, you know, when I say it's a 10 out of 10, relax. That doesn't mean perfect, right? But this game is remarkable.
Yeah.
And this game is stunning in a lot of different ways. And there were moments where like I it sounds cliche, but like I cannot believe that like this is a game that we're playing. Like they're like you know, fuck it, because it's on the mind, and I don't want to not bring it up. This is a spoiler-free review, right? We're gonna be as vague as possible on certain things, you know, like I'm sure we'll find a way to talk about a certain part, you know what I'm saying, all that.
Sure, Aloy dies at the end.
Absolutely. But here's what I'll say. The Las Vegas chapter in Horizon is, I literally have chills right now. It's one of those missions that I'll never forget, ever in my life ever. And I'm so happy that I stream my first playthrough. Yeah. And that moment is forever archived. When you do the thing to really, you know what I'm saying, to really get the atmosphere going in Las Vegas, it is one of the most breathtaking things I've ever seen in games. It is, and like the whole meaning behind it, and what Vegas means to this second generation of humanity, right? Yeah. Where like I understand why you might think Vegas was like this when it really, you know, it's traditionally Sin City, right? Yeah. But they attach like a New York type of like feeling to Vegas and like meaning to Vegas, right? That like I see how they got to that endpoint given what they observed of Las Vegas, right? Absolutely. It's incredible. It's by far my favorite moment in the game. It's a lot of people saying that moment. That whole section is like one of my favorite things I've done in gaming, period.
Can I just say, because this one is not a spoiler. You see it in the trailer.
Okay.
You see it in the state of play.
Oh,
let's talk about San Francisco.
Yo.
That was the moment for me that blew my mind. I was like, this world is insane. Bro, and there's so a part where I'm in a landmark and it's barely recognizable.
Yeah.
And I'm just, and it literally, like, while I was doing an action, because I'm trying to find the Graze Walkers. Oh my god, I just played this game, damn it. The ones where you find the signal. You hit them, you bump them on the head. You guys know. Anyway, I had to do that, and I was standing there. I was like, oh my god, this place. This is insane. And like, for the reasons why I love Elden Ring, and I think its level design is unmatched, to me is a different feeling here in Horizon, because these are two totally different open world games where it took Horizon's definitely, this is like an homage, or you see the inspiration from games like Witcher in here, which I feel like, because I like the universe in Horizon more, I just dig it way more. And I love the way that the level builds out the universe around you, where you see landmarks that we know here and are changed dramatically. It's fantastic. Like, I just can't get over how beautiful this game is.
To co-opt your point about like seeing a landmark, right? I almost put this in the news. I added just now, right? There is this insane video. If you haven't seen this, I implore everyone to go see this. They do a side-by-side of the real locations versus the Horizon Forbidden West versions of these locations. This video is incredible.
It's nuts. How
it is fucking insane. It's really straight up, dude. It's wild. There's so many.
Wild.
Yo, it's a 20-minute video. 60-minute video. Y'all definitely go check that out.
Yeah,
there's some fire.
Because like there are some subtle changes because of course like it's hundreds of years in the future or whatever. So of course things are going to change and look a little different and whatever. But like this shit is accurate, guys.
Fire.
It's so like good. They're just like, Google Maps, we're gonna just use this. We're gonna take this, man. Nuts.
Yeah. And I'm happy that we're talking about the world, right? Because like I think in a lot of ways, and like if the unaccounted for and perhaps not how I phrase this, like if in Horizon Zero Dawn I didn't realize one of the standout quote unquote cast members of that game was the game's historical past, right? And like what happened in this world, right? Here it's the world straight up. Like this world is such a living, breathing world.
You know, the cliche where I get it because you don't want to sound like a cliche where it's like the world is a character, but like the world is a character.
There is so much to do in this game, bro.
It's insane. So like to me, like we were talking before the show because I was like I was trying to finish it, but at a point I was just like, I don't want to beeline this. I don't want to rush this because beelining it was taking away from the experience I was having. I was having a subpar experience, I'll be honest, without this open world. So I was just allowed myself to get lost. I allowed myself to run into all the side quests and all the side characters, or what I thought was all the side quests and all the side characters. I was very wrong. And the story was amplified by these side characters that have their own story, and it acts really as a great way of like, no, the world's beyond you, but it needs you. And it's just it is so masterful in that sense.
Yeah, and the side missions also like co-opt this feeling of like, cliche, whatever, but like the open world is living and breathing in terms of like it even relates and points back to itself in terms of like there are side missions that if you do a specific big side mission before this one, they'll reference that you did that. You know, like the game keeps track of like what you've done and has different dialogue depending on what you've done already. Like it is the amount of craftsmanship and work that must have taken is like beyond me. It's truly remarkable. And like listen, you know what? I'm gonna say it. A part of me is like, God damn it, like fuck, like people are not gonna see this again because we have another big game that is overshadowing Horizon, right? And like I'm not trying to throw shade, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Breath of the Wild, shout out to Elden Ring. I'm not trying to throw shade.
One of those games are worth the acclaim. Let's be real. One of those games are worth the acclaim.
Talk that talk, man.
Breath of the Wild, we have stepped far enough that we could start seeing the cracks. We could start seeing its flaws, and guess what? It's done immense for level design. I'll say that. It's created its own genre of how we look at open world games. But fundamental level, or at a fundamental level, on a consumer level, come on, we needed weapon durability. I would like actual boss fights. You know, there are things.
You ever heard of the Nintendo bump? You ever heard of that?
Yeah, it exists because Kirby got an 85.
Hey, I actually fucking like Kirby. I actually, you know, hold on, like, yo,
Here, let me throw a stone at Mario. Mario Odyssey got like a 9. Like, it exists.
Sometimes that Nintendo bump be hitting in a very specific way. Where Kirby, yo, I really enjoyed that game.
Right,
I really did. But no, like, I just like, it's like, oh man, like, guys, like, I wish like, and there are people highlighting the greatness of Horizon.
Yeah.
Right. Like, it's not like it's like a undiscovered relic, right? But it's like, like, I wish we could all, as the industry, stop and like look at Guerrilla Games and be like, yo, this shit is fucking incredible. Yeah. This game on PS5 looks incredible.
Full stop.
Incredible.
I get that this game runs on Xbox. No, it does not. PlayStation 4. Yes. This game is the game. It is the prettiest game I've ever played. Like, graphically, and then just like visuals on, like, when it comes to draw distance, like, this is to me the first truly next gen game we've gotten from either Xbox or PlayStation. I'm saying it right here, right now, because to me, I'm taking a look at Horizon, going, how the hell does this game work? Especially when I'm taking a look at the draw distances, and you can still see the detail of the trees and shit from all the way out there.
Yeah.
There's not a game that comes close. Like, Ratchet's beautiful and whatever, but I could believe that game is a PS4 game. I I would believe that it's a PS4 game. I can't believe and won't believe that this game could run on PS4.
Did you play in 30 or 60?
Okay, great question. Played at 60 in the beginning, and everybody was complaining about the shimmer. Guess what? I got good eyes. Humble brag. So that didn't affect me. But I was just like, you know what? I heard it's like a sub 60, and I'm like, okay, if it's really like a 45, why the heck? Let's just put it to 30. What's the worst? Oh, this game is gorgeous. And so, yeah, I was playing on 30. And I didn't mind. To be real.
I'm gonna consider myself. I think I'm a broken person at this point. I physically can't do 30, bro. I know that sounds like a very hyperbolic statement, but like I literally can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it anymore. Like, if a game comes out and it's only 30, like, you got, like, it has to be a very specific game for me to like tolerate 30. You know what I'm saying? But so to speak of, like, does this game feel next gen, right? I think that's a great question. The only thing that I would say I think didn't look great in the game, at least at 60 frames, right? Because it probably doesn't look like this in 30 frames with the 4K, right? Mm-hmm. Is in specific cutscenes when you have NPCs in the background. I know that's a very, like, specific niche thing that I'm bringing up, and like, why are you looking there? The focus is up here, right? But I did notice in some cutscenes, like, some of the models, like, looked like they were a very, like, low LOD version of this NPC from what felt like he was maybe 15-20 feet from me, you know. Specifically, I'm gonna bring up a location. When you're is it called the Daunt? When you're leaving area? when you're leaving Baron's Light, do you remember that whole predicament that happened there?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? With yeah. In that cutscene where it's like kind of sundown, and there were certain NPCs in that was the first time I noticed, like, oh, like, I don't like how this game is rendering these NPCs at a distance, right? But that's the only, I think, real knock, quote unquote, I can give this game from a visual standpoint. This game visually is fucking insane. It's insane. And you know, there was a lot of talk directly from Sony, and I think Guerrilla Games as well directly too, where it was a question of, like, you know, is having cross-gen games going to what's the word people were using? Compromise. Compromise the PS5 version if it has run on PS4, right? And they talked a lot about how, like, no, like, we are specifically crafting each version. You know what I'm saying? Like, Like it's more than just scalars and all that. Like they're really going around and really doing the work that has to be done to make the PS4 version run successfully on PS4 and the PS5 version really take advantage of all that. With what I've seen from Digital Foundry and their breakdowns and all that, I'm left pretty convinced that like I think they did good on those statements. Like the PS5 version like really does feel incredible and look incredible.
Yeah.
And run incredible, you know? So I think you're right in that like like this overall intents and purposes like this is a uncompromised PlayStation 5 game, you know, that just so happens to have a PS4 version. Now, do I think that like this game could have been more if it was just PS5? Sure, right? I think that can also be correct in that statement too. But there's no shaking that PS5 version is incredible, you know, and that they put a lot of work into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Again, like this sounds cliche, but like they look like two different games. Like just on the lighting standpoint, it's just bonk. The game shouldn't exist.
There's some crazy lighting and there's some crazy.
It's too damn good. I'm just gonna say.
It's just the environments, the weather effects. Like when it's dark, it's like fucking dark.
Dude, when it's dark, it's like okay, maybe I need to change.
Straight up, like bro, like yo, like, I low key can't see in that forest when you get closer to San Francisco. Like, bro, I can't see, bro. I really can't see. I need a flashlight or some shit. Bro.
Exactly, dude. Again, I don't know. Like I have no visual qualms. Like everything looks great. Sometimes the only little thing is like sometimes the animations don't match up. Like hand animation match up to how good the facial animations are. Right. Yeah. But man, even then, like this game is it's just so gorgeous because I'm like, I expect shit to break, and this is again, it's running too beautifully. So there is gonna be some like like some peaks and valleys in that regard, but like it's just. Again, looks wise, this is the most next gen thing I've ever seen from both companies.
And those facial animations are night and day from the original game. Night and day.
They were still like
so much better.
Dude, I'm like 30 hours in this goddamn game. I'm looking at these faces. And I'm like, there's none of them are like I'm still blown away by how truly lifelike these characters look. It's nuts.
We talked about visuals, the world, side missions, all that. Let's now, of course, no spoilers. Overall, how are you feeling about this story?
Oh, okay.
How are we feeling about the story? I think here is where the conversation gets a little bit more interesting.
So I talked to my good friend Sean Capri, who runs an Xbox show. But he gets stuff from Xbox Canada, which like PlayStation Canada as well. So it's like, come on, PlayStation, throw some love our way.
They really do be giving a lot of love to Canadians.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? And it's like, what are we?
When World War III happens, we'll remember what country you favored. You know?
Did PlayStation US give their content creators a lot of love as opposed to that's exactly what's good. Yep.
That being said, he was just like, I don't like this story, man. It's like this story is budget sci-fi. This is garbage.
Oh, budget sci-fi.
And I'm like, how dare you? How dare you, Sean? Because as I'm playing it, I'm like, where is this game? Like, where's the story bad? Like, there is one thing that. We can talk in code if you need to. Yeah, there is one event that happens that I don't like how it happened.
Is it that one thing towards like the end third? Yeah. With that one individual?
Person.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah.
And I'm just like, really? You're gonna do this to someone?
I have a similar gripe. I'm like very, very, very similar.
Really? Yeah. Okay. Well, that's kind of shitty. So I didn't like that. I legitimately hated that. I was like, you could have went about this, I think, a total different way, because not only did I not like that arc, but I also didn't like how abrupt it felt. It was like, oh, the scene needs to end, so we're just ending it. And I'm like, all right, fine. But overall, in the story sector, my other problem with it is Angela Bassett's character. Her story straight up sucks. And why? It's the same problem that we have with the base Horizon. Angela Bassett's character, by all accounts, should be an adversary, should be threatening, should be menacing, should pose as a true threat. But dude, it's like a Roadrunner scenario. I'm messing up this broad every single time we're going toe to toe. And she's supposed to be this threat. She's supposed to be this menacing thing. No, she isn't. And she never is even truly there. Like, she has her one, I'm a bad person moment in the beginning. You have her reason as to why she's bad. But there should be one more point in that story that cements that Angela Bassett's character is a real evil son of a bitch. And we never got that. So I feel like that story arc had so much promise, but then just under-delivered immediately afterwards. Where
I would say, sorry.
Yeah, where I think the main story, that was the one that was hidden from us, to me, hits so damn well that I don't mind. But I feel like in the future, Guerrilla does have to pick and choose in what direction they're going. Are we gonna go super sci-fi, or are we gonna go and have this chieftain that is gonna be our adversary? Because they always try to do both, and the sci-fi thing always wins over, and the chieftain character is always just like a second note. But I will say that story that was hidden from us, they almost immediately, that first twist, they're just like, and you're in or you're out right here.
Yep.
When they introduce,
everyone knows it. Yep.
That character, it's like you're in or you're out. We just introduced two crazy concepts to you. Are you in or you out?
100%.
And you're either gonna piece right out, or you're gonna be like me going, let's fucking go. Take me on this journey.
Let me go off on this beat. Let me jump to Angela Bassett first, right? It is very clear, right, that she's incredible, absolutely.
Yeah. Step on my chest, Angela.
Step on some other things too. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's a late night on a Thursday. Let me talk my talk. No, okay, listen. Okay, look. They did the same thing with this game that I feared would happen from Horizon Zero Dawn. And it was something that, like, I really noticed earlier this year when I played the game over, right? Mm-hmm. I was like, there is a 2 storyline thing going on here with the original, right? Where one is miles more interesting and miles more compelling than the other storyline, right? In this game, you really hate to say it, but it might be an even more of a division from that standpoint. It might be even more of a wider gap of, like, interest and intrigue, where when you see a particular person in this story, right, and it's a few hours in, you got to get through some stuff, right? Which that's another complaint that I will get to as well in this review, right? But when you get to this scene that Joe was talking about, and if you played it, you know exactly what we're talking about.
Oh yeah.
I was completely blown the fuck back in the truest sense. I was like, literally from that point on during the stream series, I would stop at the top of the stream and say, listen, if you have not reached this mission name, do not watch this stream.
Yeah.
I don't want this ruined for anyone.
Yep.
Because this shit is literally nobody on God's green earth could have called it. I stand by that. That where they take this story from a sci-fi standpoint is something that nobody could ever have guessed.
They teased it in the beginning. I was like, there's no way.
Yeah.
And I thought we were going to discover the devastation, right? And then I'm like, oh shit, they really did it. And a part of me was just like, okay, Joe, real talk, this is stupid as shit, but like, are you in for this? And I'm just like,
dude, it's so fucking good.
Yeah, this is Star
insane.
Wars. Star Wars in its heart is stupid as shit, but I'm in. Like, I'm sold,
bro.
You know, and
I fucking loved it
because to me, okay, we need a spoiler cast, man. Next week can't come soon enough.
Next week we're diving deep. Next week we're diving deep.
The way that they play with, I'm just gonna say this: the way that they play with art styles and concepts that we've seen from sci-fi, and go, okay, what does armor look like in Horizon? I'll just say it like that.
Yeah.
And let's see how we can elevate it. That's how they're thinking here when it comes to the art styles and how everything may look so different, but at the end of the day, totally makes sense on an artistical like concept level that this actually does belong here. Fuck, I think I nailed that without spoiling anything. So like on that level, and then there's some other things of just like, yeah, we've watched all the sci-fi movies, and what if we just approach this one concept totally different? And god damn it, I just I want to say it.
It's such, I know, because it's such an interesting.
Can I type it to you? Because I need this. Yeah. This can't run from me. While you talk, go for it.
Yeah, I just love it because like it's such an interesting flip of like, okay, this is quote unquote a trope in sci-fi movies, but like we're gonna flip it, and it's gonna make sense in this world, where it's like completely remarkable, and it's so good that it makes the B story with Angela Bassett, right, and whatever's going on amongst the tribes in the Forbidden West infinitely less interesting, you know. That's not to say that. Yes, that's what I mean about the twist. Yes, that's what I mean about like what? It's so good, dude. It's so good.
Because we've seen that concept before, but we've never seen execution like this before. And I gotta give them props. I think the story is, to me, yeah, you could call it hokey, you know, cheesy sci-fi, you know, Halo the show type of story. That's right. That's a dig. That show's awful. Don't watch it. Don't sully the name of Halo. Don't sully the name of Halo by watching that shit.
I really hear it's not great.
Or we can do something truly unique and stand by it. And I just gotta give them props. They're like, this is something different. We've seen those stories. We're doing it different.
I said that with Horizon Zero Dawn, and Horizon Forbidden West once again proves this statement. The Horizon franchise is one of the most unique, compelling, and intriguing sci-fi properties ever. Ever. Mm-hmm. Name me any movie, name me any book, name me any show, I don't care. Horizon as a franchise at this point is one of the most compelling sci-fi and unique sci-fi things.
Yes.
That anyone's ever created.
Because they're just like, I'm right there with you. Because I like, at least in the last 10 years, because to me, I take a look at what Horizon is building. They're building this universe that is like,
it's so fucking cool, man.
Like, yeah, it's hokey. There's robot dinosaurs, and they're there to be there. But like, there's the art direction and the how it ties so perfectly to the stories of Horizon is unmatched. And to me, when I just take a look at Horizon, I take a look at it going, this is Horizon, right? It's not like I'm looking at this going, oh, they took inspiration from Star Trek or a Star Wars or a Galactica. I'm like, no, this is Horizon. And when I see even like robots like style stuff, I'm like, this is Horizon. It's unique. It's different. It has its own identity that I think stands side by side with other sci-fi properties really well, while at the same time telling those self-contained stories. The reason why we love these worlds is like the reason why you love Star Wars is it's a galaxy, but it's a self-contained small story in just such a neat way, by also giving homage to the tribes before even us, right? And we're not talking about like just Native American garb, but we're also talking like Aztec garb. We're also talking about like Indonesian tribes way back when, and paying respect to that and that culture. Even paying respect to like even, you know, hints of like Japanese culture as well. Like they do such a great job of blending all of these cultures of the past and bringing it to the forefront so damn well. And at the same exact time, also having a really good way of, hey, how would someone, there's a great storyline where there is, I'll just say, a poster of a Marine. And this whole society is just like, shit. There's this poster, and we're going to tell stories from this poster because we don't understand it, but it speaks to us in a way that we're going to base our whole culture on it. It's like that shit would happen.
It would. 100%.
Like how we decipher what happens. I'm a huge history buff. So the way that we decipher shit from, you know, hundreds or thousands of years ago, and then how it gets rebuffed later down the line going, actually, you know what, Atlantis wasn't real, you dumb idiots. You know, that type of stuff. Like even just like discovering the you know, the empire of like the Trojan Empire, because we thought that was actually just fake for the longest time, and now we actually have like, oh, actually no, this wasn't just stories, this actually could have actually happened. Like it's nuts how it's happening in reverse, or what we perceive as reverse.
Yeah, it's mark our words here. Horizon is less of those IPs that you can point to its inspirations from. Obviously you can, but like I believe more so it's a trend center. I believe more so there will be IPs that borrow stuff from Horizon.
Yeah.
It's that unique and distinctive. 110%. I and what you're talking about, there are so many mind-blowing moments in this game that I'm like, oh fuck, that's really fucking cool. Like you can tell they had so much fun, like being like, hey guys, like what if this group of people like worship this?
Yeah.
Right. You know, like, but to us that's just an advertisement. You know,
yeah.
Like it's you know, like it's not supposed to be that deep, but like to them it's like
it's
so,
like this whole
I love it.
Yeah, this whole like culture is like all peaceful and loving. Because they saw McDonald's, ba-da-ba-ba-ba, I'm loving it. And they're like, oh my God, that jingle, it's resonated.
Straight up.
We must love it. We must love everyone. You know, that type of shit. It's awesome.
And then they take it a step further where this is definitely spoiled. This is definitely, I'm getting real close to spoilers. I'm not going to say anything. Relax.
Don't say it.
Guys. But like, it's not, it doesn't even stop at just like items in the open world or like art in the open world. It's people. And what certain people think certain people did in the past.
Yep.
And how they were perceived in the current day in Horizon is not what they were truly. You know what I'm saying? So there's a little bit more of like like they do a lot with like perspectives and like revisionist like history. In terms of
oh my God,
that's what I love too. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, that story.
Yeah. It's so cool. It's like, oh, y'all think that this person is, oh, okay. No, that's not how that went down, but I fucking like how y'all think
Elon,
that.
But like, it's
man.
That arc, I was like, this is some Fallout level shit. Like, this is just goofy enough that it worked. It's working for me, man.
Even though I do have a problem with that part, but that's next week.
I have no problem with that, so I'm really curious.
Okay, but okay, cool.
What this also does a great job, and they pay a lot of like hero worship.
Yes.
Worshiping your heroes. Too much so. Yeah, and understanding they're just people. And being disappointed. And I think there's a point in Aloy where there's a good arc of her dealing with certain aspects of that in a real way, and oftentimes going, yeah, like, listen, who you're worshiping is just people. Like, this is not what you think it is. Back away, back aside. Like, you know, she does a good job. Her arc in this whole game is stellar, and I love it.
I love her arc in this game too. I love her
and
arc.
Dare I say, when people are like, "Oh, Aloy is so unlikable. She's so mean to everybody. She want like everybody get out of her way." I'm like, she has to save the world again. She hasn't even gotten a break from the first game, because this game literally comes out 6 months after Horizon, right, or Zero Dawn. So it's like she hasn't even gotten to like grieve for people like Rost yet. So like, she's pushing people away because she's determined, and she does not want, and this is the whole basis of the story, so I'm not spoiling this, but she's like, she doesn't want anybody else to deal with this stress, because it's asking too much, because she herself is burdened by it. And so that arc that she goes on, of course she has to be, not to even say she's unlikable, because she never is. She's always likable, but like, she's supposed to have some jagged edges. She's a character that still needs to be refined. She would be boring if she was perfect. It's awesome that she's imperfect, because now she has a journey worth going on.
The one thing I'll say about Aloy's arc in this spoiler-free review, right, is that I love that they crafted her arc in this game to not only define Aloy in this game and what she will be like moving forward and as she progresses throughout the game, but it's also a way of highlighting, like, everyone that said that about Aloy after the first game. I don't know how you play this game and have that same opinion of Aloy.
Yeah.
In terms of them explaining, like, I think y'all forgot Aloy was an outcast.
Yep.
People didn't talk to her until after the fucking proving in the first game.
She's used to this shit.
She lacks social skills.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And we even see that in the first game. Granted, it's a very, very short scene, and like, it's not that prominent, but when they start bowing to her, right? And she's like, how are you guys gonna outcast me for my entire fucking life? And then all of a sudden you know this fact about me, that I'm a clone of Elizabeth Sobek, and all of a sudden y'all want to praise me. Mm-hmm. And throughout the whole game, like she struggles with letting people in, you know? And like, I love that, like, the way she responds to certain things, the way she acts, and it's like, everyone has to remember, like, yo, like, she was an outcast.
Yeah.
She did not have normal relationship friendships at all. It was just her and Rost. You know what I'm saying? And I just love that, like, this game, like, did a really good job at highlighting that. And having Aloy, like, I feel, come to terms with that and learn to grow beyond that, right? And you don't have to be what you have always been. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I love that. What else do I want to hit on here for this? I guess we can talk. What's the worst aspect you feel that's not story spoiler related? Like, is there certain, like, gameplay things? Is there, like, where are we
touched upon two of them. Okay. Now I'm gonna sound. Here's where I start sounding very misogynist, because it comes off that way. But I'm telling you, it's just. It has nothing to do that she's a lady. I'm telling you right here, right now.
We know that you're a good soul.
Exactly.
You know
I love the ladies. Okay, they rev my engine. But Aloy can't.
As do I.
You gotta shut up. You don't listen. First off, she should talk to herself. You're alone all the time. I talk to myself.
As do I.
And I see things sometimes. I'm kidding. But like, it's normal. Like, sometimes you're doing an action and you say it out loud, or whatever. You're thinking of something and you say it out loud. Like, it happens. But you shouldn't have. I don't think you should have full blown conversations. This isn't Moon Knight. This is Horizon. You gotta settle that a bit, Aloy. That being said, she should talk when I'm working on a puzzle and I still, like, it's been 5 minutes. I still don't know. Maybe she could go, hey. you dumb idiot. Like, it's maybe there's something over here, but she is talking way too much, and there is like a shut up and let me drive moment in this game that happens a little bit too much. And yes, I like the stash thing, they fixed pretty quick, but like, and overall I think she has quieted up a little bit since the patches, but like, she does talk too much, and it sounds like it's almost as bad as, it's not as bad as the murmuring Deacon St. John, who is literally insane.
I'm gonna kill those freakers. I'm gonna fucking kill those freakers.
I miss my wife. It's like, I
can't believe that was an interesting choice they did. I'm like, that's a direction.
This guy's seething with anger. And then also like the picking up little shit. Like, come on, man. I mean, and that's literally it. Like, that's most of my complaints with this. Just go down to, hey, Aloy, maybe this is an accessibility option that we can explore.
Yes, thank you.
Yes. And hey, maybe I don't need to stop, because to me, though this open world is amazing, I still prefer Ghost's open world, because I forget where I said this, but I said it nonetheless, I'll repeat it here. Ghost does a great job at immersing you in the world, but still reminding you it's a game. So the reason why I don't like games, I'm going to be upfront and honest with you, like Red Dead Redemption 2, where it's a beautiful open world, but it forgets it's a goddamn game, and I keep forgetting that my long gun is on my horse every time I'm out in that goddamn level. I hate it because of that.
I definitely agree with like Rockstar open worlds, especially like specifically Red Dead 2.
There's unnecessary detail where Ghost is like, here's this beautiful world, here's this what we consider a very authentic take on Japan back in this era, but you don't have to get off your horse to collect wood. You don't have to, like, you're just on your horse and you just press X and you get the stuff. There's no animation there, right? It's still it is still a game at the end of the day, and I think sometimes Horizon forgets that it needs to be a game and tries to over animate things.
Right. Okay.
That's what I'm thinking.
I'll start with Aloy's like dialogue, because I do think that like that's one of like the negatives in the games. Then I'll go into like the open world thing that you said. With Aloy, it was mainly those two things of where she will almost immediately tell you the answer to a puzzle, and the stash thing. So the stash thing was definitely solved in patches, right, for the most part. But with the puzzle dialogue, I feel I'm with you about you bringing up an accessibility option. I think that should be present on modes of like easy and normal. No,
yes.
I think they say like story mode and normal mode. That's where I'm cool with Aloy talking like that pretty much immediately when you get to a puzzle, right? But I was playing on hard, and I'm like, yo, like, let me sit with it. I'm cool with having a 5-minute time limit. Five minutes is a long time in the game. You know, 5 minutes is a long time in the game for sure. You can do a lot in 5 minutes in a modern game, right? So I understand that, like, if I'm stuck on the puzzle more than 5 minutes, Aloy wants to say something, I'm totally cool with that. But she would literally say it like within like what felt like 45 seconds of me like getting to a puzzle. You know what I'm saying? So I thought that was something that was definitely an oversight. Probably should have been tied to difficulty, or just be a straight up just accessibility option to toggle on and off, right?
Yeah.
And in terms of like, I don't know, man. I think I'd rather have this open world than Ghosts, but I think for different ways. I totally get the gamification of the Ghosts open world, of it being like very much not forgetting that like it is definitely still a game, right? And then I think there are some spots where you can attach that critique to Horizon, absolutely. But I just think there's so much to do and see in Horizon, like.
I gotta preface with this. They're also two different open world games.
Absolutely,
in their design, they are not Ghost is not going for the Witcher style. Again, like, to me, I think that Ghost is trying to do an Ubisoft meets Breath of the Wild-esque approach. If this was just an elevator pitch, I'm not a game designer. I'm a big dumb fat idiot. But that's what I'm pretty sure that's what Ghost wanted, was like, let's have a little bit of both here, and I think Ghost definitely achieves it. And same here. So it just literally comes down to preference for me, where I do prefer the Ghost world, but it's not like by leaps and bounds, because I think, again, Horizon is truly amazing.
Yeah, like people that play games know the difference of open world games when you group like Red Dead, Ubisoft, and Horizon in comparison to Spider-Man, Ghost of Tsushima, and like Infamous.
Yeah.
Right? We know those differences where, like like there's differences in that. So like I definitely feel you on that. I'm trying to think of there were definitely other stuff I didn't like about Horizon that I'm trying to think of. I think the way they you know what? I do know a few. Cuz then we'll talk about best stuff as well, but some of the worst stuff underwater kind of did we all like that? Did we like the underwater stuff? I don't know, man. The fact that like there was did we?
Okay. Here's a hot take. Horizon. Listen, real talk. Every underwater mission has been bad from the start. And by me saying that this is some of the best underwater I've experienced in a game isn't saying much, because it's still not good, but it is the best because it tells there are stories that are being told underwater, that I'll say, especially in San Fran. That I was like, how are they doing this? This is nuts.
Yeah, I just thought I would be engaging in combat underwater. I'm not sure how they would have pulled that off, right? Because like, really, Kev, like how are you gonna have Aloy like swing her staff like she's above water? Like that's not gonna make sense. So
no, but I do love the breathing apparatus that lends itself very nicely. Yeah,
I like the underwater exploration. Right? Sure. That's, I think, a little bit separate from my critique, but I just think more of like engaging with like water mechanics itself in this game, I didn't think was like that crazy. Yeah. Another thing is that I enjoyed the melee more in this game. Let me say that up front. And I did not unlock the full melee
same
skill tree.
Sweet. Yeah.
I was trying to upgrade everything at a similar pace, right? So I was always like peppering all of my skill tree points to try and like upgrade everything at the same time, pretty much. So I don't know of like the melee when it's fully upgraded, right? I didn't end up loving the melee. It's better. Yeah. It's better. Definitely better. But I didn't end up loving it as much as like I hoped I would.
Fair. I am right there with you. I don't think the melee combat still is great. It's good. It's serviceable, but it does still need to be better. At the same exact time, how much better do you want it to be?
That's fair.
Because this is supposed to be the base. The meat of this game is ranged combat and traps. Absolutely. So if you make the melee combat too good, then you don't need traps and you don't need ranged, and that kind of ruins the gist of the combat.
Yeah. And then I know I have critiques. I mean, like, sometimes I felt like some like climbing and like parkour parts in the game like didn't feel as fluid as like I'd like it to. Sometimes like there still like is a little hint of like jank feeling sometimes when you're platforming, you know what I'm saying? That, I mean,
yes.
I don't know how much I can knock Guerrilla for that. I don't know, but I'll just mention it.
I don't think it's nearly I think it's the clunkiest climbing, and it's weird because like that engine's all about climbing. So like, to me, I take a look at like Ghost of Tsushima, I think actually has the best platforming out of all of them. Even better than Uncharted, I said it.
What's
take it back.
Yeah, what's wild is that like, other than vehicle driving in Death Stranding, not sure how we have the same Decima engine, but like I don't remember feeling like traversing through the open world in terms of like climbing and stuff like that felt like as janky as like Horizon. You know what I'm saying? Other than the vehicle things, but I know you're not like I know
you're not hanging off of shit in Destiny.
I know he's not like climbing. Yeah. You know what? Maybe that was a bad comparison. But like, yeah, I'll call that a bad comparison that I just made.
All right. You'll pull back. Yeah, no. To me, I think the climbing's a little jank. The melee could still use some work. It's not perfect in that regard, but I think the evolution of the combat. It's still Horizon. Like for people, I saw people go, yeah, no, it's still, I still don't like the combat. It's like, where did you want this game to change? Like the game was never for you. Like
I think
you wasted $70 so that you can complain is what you're telling me. Because it is what it is. It's range combat focus. If you don't like bow and arrow fighting, you're not gonna like this game. I'm sorry.
Dude, from a range combat, I fucking think that they really
nailed it.
Like, bro, you can have so many different type of arrows on your weapon wheel. It's stupid. Like you can, I think, have like upwards of like what seems like 12 to like 15 different selections of like different arrows that you can have. There's a lot of really cool new weapons, like the one where you fling the like rotating disc to like get. I love that one. Dude, I love that one.
Even some of the returning ones, like I love the little mini Gatling gun thing you got. Like that's just like shooting 1,000 spears. Like that has to be, first off, give credit where it's due. Them haptic feedbacks are
fire.
Chef kisses all around. It's fantastic. Like every weapon has a little bit of oomph to them. And yeah, like each weapon, and even again, like stacking up combos, finding out not just the weak spots, but where you can cause ruptures and explosions and chain reactions to. It just ups the ante of the combat so well.
They did such a good job at like letting you have access to relevant information that you would need in a gameplay zone where you're engaging in combat very quickly with that little menu that you go left to right with the D-pad on. You can highlight certain things, you can tag certain things. Like it really, really well done UI design right there. I fucking was so impressed by that. So impressed.
Yeah.
How like even it'll be like, hey, you can only get this by shooting this component off. If the machine dies, you won't get it. Like I love that depth too of like, oh shit, like I gotta really think about if I want this resource, I have to take it down a different way than I was intending to. You know what I'm saying? I love that. And I think that also was a really good way of also like kind of having players stretch out their knowledge and their arsenal and really observe these machines, because you can't just, it's a frost glint hawk, let me just shoot it with some fire arrows and make it explode. Or hey, I can see its electrical coil on the back of its body. I can just shoot that with like an electric bow, have it start sparking and fusing up and just explode. Like you can't just explode every machine if you really want to get all of its resources. You know what I'm saying? Like, I love that they did that too.
Yeah,
that was a very, very smart way of doing it.
And it made you think of combat differently as well, because like there were some pieces that are super easy to shoot off, and of course those are going to be their easier items. But then there are some that are way trickier, and those are used to buy, which is how you're getting all this items for the most part. It's like you're buying them at vendors, and that is a great way of making you go back to the vendors or go back to these towns. It's like, oh shit, I know that there's a piece of armor that I'm working for here. I know that there's a bow and arrow that's really dope here. I'm gonna work to get those things and make Aloy the best that she can be at the same exact time. Playing up to what type of play style you want goes into not just the armor or the weapons, but the skill trees as well. It's like, hey, do I want to be stealthy and lean on traps? There's a skill tree for that. Am I leaning all on my bow and arrow? Do I want to be more proficient at melee so that if and when they get close to me, I can repel them better? Like, there is a way for you to play, for the most part, the way you want within the confines of this game. being what a Horizon game should be. And it just does a great job at balancing those things and making it so that you have to, again, think about combat differently. If you want the things off these beasts, you gotta think about, should I shoot this horn off? How do I aim at the right time to get like this tooth off the goddamn hippopotamus thing? Like, it's just so well thought of that I don't think Horizon gets enough flowers for it, to be honest.
I agree. I completely agree. What else do I want to lay on the table here for the spoiler-free review? We covered a lot. I'm trying to think if there's anything else in specific that I want to bring up. I do feel like this game suffers overall. Like, to say like one more thing about the game's structure, right?
Sure.
I do feel like this game suffers from a similar fate of Zero Dawn, where I feel like the game really opens up after a few hours. You know, I don't think those first few hours were like that great. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
I think you may have like kind of subtly said that too, where you were saying early on like you weren't really feeling it. I wouldn't say like I wasn't feeling it. I was just like waiting for the main conflict climax of the story to like really hook.
Horizon, here's what the next Horizon needs to learn from the previous two. First off, the sequel way better in terms of like throwing you in the action. But you need to get me in that open world in under an hour. If you cannot do that, you need to go back to the drawing board, because I was there for like about 2-3 hours until I was actually in the open world. And I don't think every game, as much as I love the Dawn, needs a white orchard, which is like, if y'all don't know, the appetizer to the main course that is the Witcher open world, where it's like, here's this little section that, it's what me and my buddies call it. Here's like the prelude. Here's like the prelude to the real open world. You don't need that. Just give me the open world game. Just throw me in it. Trust me.
I man, like I really think that like we could have just gone to Barren Light, and go from there. You know, like, because I think if you get up to Barren Light and you're still with it, shortly after that is the hook. You know, once you get beyond Barren Light. But yeah, no, like I'm with you. Same thing with this game, where like there is that beginning portion that just lasts a little bit too long. That I think would do a lot better if we, like you said, get there under an hour. You know, I think that's really where they need to hit. So yeah, you know what? I think now's a good spot to give our kind of closing overall thoughts. I am blown away by this game. I do feel like it's tough because I love Returnal, right? For like what's like my favorite like PS5 game. Technically, if you don't like intend to go with it, Returnal is a PS5 exclusive, so I guess you can call that what it is. But this game, if we're like removing that aspect of it, I think that this game is incredible. I think this is well worth your time. I do think that it's something that you must play on PS5. I think it's also one of those games that I haven't played. I've seen a little bit of the PS4 version. I would really consider, hey, like if you know you are going to buy a PS5 someday, I would wait to play this game on PS5. I would not play this on PS4.
Yeah,
like,
I think this game is going to have an extraordinary tale. Where like this game is going to keep selling and selling and selling for months to come, similar like to Spider-Man.
Yeah. And so I'm really positive on the game overall. And I think the last thing I'll really say, which I can't speak to a lot of detail on the statement that I'm about to say until next week, but where this game leaves the world of Horizon, quite literally, right, is in such an interesting period in this game's world from a historical standpoint that I really can't wait to see what they do with this. Like, I think they have such a good positioning for this next game, right? To where like I think Joe will know what I'm talking about, but like the events that you do in Horizon and the way you manipulate and affect the world of Horizon in Horizon Forbidden West will bring about a very interesting age of enlightenment in this game's world that I think is going to be very intriguing. You know, I could be reading too much into it. The little things that you do in this game, quite literally what you spread in this game, the little things you spread in this game, and the way the machines are looked at a little bit differently in this game, especially towards the end of the game, where I think that this world that Aloy is leading is about to be on the cusp of an enlightenment period where I think the third Horizon game is going to be a very different game. You know, we'll see if it's for better or for worse, but I really do feel like you have time, ladies and gentlemen. If you've somehow made it this whole episode and have not played any Horizon, like, I think this third one's going to be a really, really good follow-up to this already great game with Horizon Forbidden West.
Yeah. I'll just say it right here, right now. This is hands down the best PlayStation 5 game.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you're looking for, hey, I want something that shows me next gen, this is the game that shows you next gen. I feel like if I had to give you if I had to give you 4 games that you need to buy with your system, it is Horizon, it is Ratchet, it is Returnal, and it is Spider-Man, in that order, that you need to pick up. And this is going to give you the quintessential PlayStation 5. This is what this console is. Horizon's it, man. This game is beautiful, stunning. The draw distances should be illegal how good they are. Like when you're on top of that mountaintop looking down, never seen something quite like it. It has made me a Decima engine stan.
It's so good, bro.
So good. On a story level, this is not the best story Sony's ever told, but it is something different. It is something unique. It's something that I feel like is a great story, and I feel like y'all should check it out and reward you for diving deeper, whether that's in the logs, whether that is through side missions or side beats or side missions via main characters. These things are important, and it nails them. Almost 9 times out of 10 it nails them. Combat is fantastic, but this is still a Horizon game, so if you didn't like the first game's combat, you're not gonna like this one. Just plain and simple. That being said, though, that this game isn't, to me, the best game I've ever played, or even my game of the year this year, it is a game that you should not pass up. It's a game that you need to play ASAP, because it is fantastic. So after you're done playing whatever game it is, go ahead, try this one out.
I feel like this would be a great summer game.
Oh, yeah.
Have you? Because for me, my summer game, or games plural, is gonna be finishing up the Mass Effect trilogy 2 and 3.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
For me, my summer game, I think, is actually Elden Ring again to platinum it, and actually Horizon again to platinum it.
I'm gonna platinum Horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So for me, I don't do like 9 or 10 or whatever. It's like, am I gonna go out and platinum this game? Should tell you how special it is. Go out there, play this game.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna get this platinum for sure.
Yeah.
There were just a lot of games that came out these past 2 months, so I had to just pivot after I was done with this game. But thankfully, look at that. April's pretty empty. May, other than Trek to Yomi, at least in my radar, May's pretty empty. Yeah. You know, June looking pretty empty.
It's true.
So
it's true.
Happy that we have some slow months here for the rest of 2022. But with that being said, we will be back next week for the finale. We're gonna get into all of the juicy bits of the story and talk about the future of Horizon and all that great stuff next week to end off the Road to Forbidden West podcast series, of course, Road to series. But before we get to that, Joe, Mr. Badminton Moran, where can people find you?
Oh man, in bed, because I'm a sleepy boy. I got work in the morning. But listen, after that, and maybe you're driving to work, maybe you are at work, you're sitting in the cubicle going, man, this guy made some sense about some things. You could head on over to the Trophy Room, a PlayStation podcast, where me and my best friend Kyle each and every Thursday talk about the latest, the greatest in all things PlayStation. This week's a little weird, not because we do anything different, but because the biggest story of the week, our good frenemy Luke Laura of the Xbox Expansion Pass broke, where we talk about the PlayStation Plus deal with the Oddworld Inhabitants crew and how putting their game on PlayStation Plus was devastating, but not because it was on PlayStation Plus, but because of delays. And we go into detail on that story and actually cover it respectfully, not like a lot of sites did this week, and that's real sad because it made Luke sad. But I live off his sadness, so great job, mainstream media. You did great. That being said, again, the Trophy Room on all podcast feeds, on YouTube as well, at the Trophy Room Show. And we really do appreciate if you toss us a 5-star review on either Apple or Spotify. Oh, you can find me too at Mr. Badbit on Twitter and at PS Trophy Room on Twitter as well.
Links below in the description to all those things. Yeah, I've been wanting to look into that quote from Oddworld developers about that, but or I can just watch Trophy Room. I can also listen to that episode. I can also do that. This has been Road to Forbidden West episode 8, the kind of sort of weekly podcast dedicated to any and all things Horizon for Forbidden West news, lore, reactions, and upon release, our spoiler cast and review that we just did here to end off the series. YouTube.com/PlayStationSource. Follow us on there. Down below, you can find a link to our Anchor link to find out our Apple Podcast link, Google Play, Spotify, etc. Down below in that Anchor link. Like the video and rate the podcast. It really does help us out a lot as well. So do Trophy Room first and then come back and do us. You know what I'm saying? But first, take care of them boys over there. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
You can, of course, like or dislike the show if you want to give some more feedback to us in there, as well as comment below and connect with us more further on Twitter and Discord in the description. Once again, for the memberships for YouTube, the $1 Prince tier goes with Pio Musa, and of course our $5 King tier members to support the channel. We have Caleb Kaiser, PsyQuest Sean, the Arachnite, and the homie Owen. And stream series probably Resistance 3, but once again, a little bit busy in the personal life. We'll be streaming soon. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna get back to the rhythm of all that good stuff. Like I'm going to Chicago next month too, which I'll see some of our homies out there as well.
Oh, really? Going to Chicago?
Very excited for that. Yeah. I get to hug Mario. You know, I get to see the homie Mario fucking Rivera, all that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? But yep. Thank y'all for watching. We'll be back next week with the spoiler cast and the last episode of Road to Forbidden West. Thank y'all for watching, and as always, greatness awaits.
Greatness awaits.